Hello, dear friends, how are you? We are humans, and it is said that humans are social animals. We are all the time, or we are very regularly interacting with the rest of the people. We are dependent upon others, and others are dependent upon us as well. Some of the people are of good nature, and be dealing and interacting with the people of good nature, it is really good. It is somewhat or quite considerably it is enjoyable one. It does create a win-win situation. So my dear friends and fellows, while another some of these people are not good people at all, they are not people of the good nature at all, and neither it is easy to interact with them, nor it is pleasing. Rather, they become an headache, and they become a quite an irritant. Every time we see them, every time we listen, talk to them, it become an unpleasant experience indeed. Now, some of these people are even more mean. They people are more corrupt, and in that reason it is really difficult to interact with them. Today we are going to talk about how to deal these people, the people who are not of good nature at all, the people who are mean, the people who are toxic. And some of these people are unfortunately very close to us as well. Either they are a family member, or they are somebody we cannot totally detach ourselves from. So dealing with these people, it is more difficult, it is more painful as well. Somehow, let's talk about how to deal the people of mean nature, and especially those people who are very close to us. Let's begin. There are certain very important tips, certain very important guidelines as for dealing with these people is concerned. First of all, it is like stay calm, staying of calm. Five important tips. That is, first number is, the number one thing is stay calm, and it is keep your emotions in check even when they are trying to provoke you. Keeping your emotions in check even when they are trying to provoke you, that is the number one tip, which is called stay calm. Now the second important tip is that set boundaries. Setting of the boundaries, clearly communicate your limits and expectations. Clearly communicating your limits and clearly communicating your expectations as well. So that is the number one. Number two thing. Number three is that don't take it personally. Don't take, because if at all you start taking the things personally from these mean people, it is going to be hell. So for that reason, don't take it personally at all. Remember, their behavior is often a reflection of themselves and not you. Remember that their behavior is often a reflection of they themselves and not that of you at all. So for that reason, don't take it personally at all. Now the number four thing is practice empathy. What is the practice of empathy here? While interacting with the mean people, how can I use, how can, or would it be possible to practice the empathy even here as well? Yes, it is quite possible. How can it be done? By trying to understand where they are coming from. How can we practice empathy with those people? By understanding where they are coming from, but don't excuse their behavior at all. On the one hand, we need to understand where they are coming from, and this is the reason why they are so mean. On the other hand, do not excuse their behavior at all. Now the fifth and the last tip, that is use gray rock technique. What is the usage of the gray rock technique? It is remain neutral and unemotional, like a grey rock to de-escalate the conflict. Very important. That is remain neutral and unemotional, not emotional. Rather remain neutral and unemotional, like a grey rock to de-escalate the conflict. So these are the five very important tips about dealing with the mean people. Let's revise it within few seconds. Number one, it was stay calm, keep your emotions in check, even when they are trying to provoke you. Number two, set boundaries. How can we do that? Clearly communicate your limits and clearly communicate your expectations as well. Number three, don't take it personally at all. Remember that their behavior is often a reflection of they themselves and not of you at all. Now, the fourth is practice empathy. Try to understand where they are coming from and don't excuse their behavior at all. The fifth and the last is use grey rock technique. Remain neutral and remain unemotional like a grey rock to de escalate the conflict. Now, the second is that managing mean people in case of close relationship with them, that is even more sensitive, that managing mean people in case they are very close to you. Again, there are only five tips which are basic and essential. Number one, re-evaluate the relationship. Re-evaluating the relationship, consider distancing yourself or setting boundaries if the relationship is toxic. That is, re-evaluate the relationship by considering distancing yourself or setting up the boundaries if the relationship is a toxic one. Now the second is communicate assertively. Communicating, not only communicating, rather communicating assertively. How can we communicate assertively? By express your feelings and needs clearly. By expressing our needs and feelings clearly without being aggressive or without being passive. Neither become passive nor become aggressive, but express your feelings and your needs clearly. That is called communicating assertively. Now the third thing is that seeking of support. Seek support. Talk to the trusted friends, talk to the trusted family members, or a therapist about the situation. Seeking support from, talk to a trusted family member, talk to a trusted friend, or talking to a therapist about the situation. Now, the fourth tip is prioritize self care. Self care must be the number one priority. How can we ensure the self care? That is, take care of your physical, emotional, and mental well being. Taking care of your physical, your emotional, and your mental well being, that is prioritizing of self care. The fifth and the last item is consider counseling. Consider counseling if the person is, willing. If the person is willing, the other person who is toxic person, who is a mean person, and unfortunately is in close relationship with us, that is, if the other person is willing, consider couples or family therapy. Consider a family therapy to work through issue, considering a family therapy if the other person is, willing. That is, consider providing them with the counseling. Let me revise within few seconds that if the mean person is in close relationship with us, what to do about those people. Number one, it is re-evaluate the relationship by consider distancing yourself or setting boundaries if the relationship is a toxic one. The second is communicate assertively by expressing your feelings and expressing your needs clearly without being aggressive or without being passive. The third is seeking of support. Talk to a trusted family member, talk to a trusted friend, or talk to a therapist about the situation. Number four, it is prioritizing of the self-care. Take care of your physical, emotional, and mental well-being. The fifth and the last is that is prioritizing. Make it a priority. Making it a priority to take care of your mental, physical, and emotional well-being. The fifth and the last tip is that consider counseling. If the person is willing, consider the family therapy to work through the issue. Now there are, once we have talked about how to interact, how to deal the mean people, and then we also spoke about how to deal the mean people if they are in close relationship with us. And lastly, finally, there are certain additional tips which are only three in number. Only three in number. The first one is don't internalize the negativity. Do not internalize their negativity at all. That is, remember that their behavior is not a reflection of your worth at all. Do not internalize their negativity by remembering that their behavior is not a reflection of your worth at all. Now, the second is practice self compassion. It is treating yourself with a kindness and treating yourself with understanding, especially when dealing with the difficult people. That is practice self-compassion, treating yourself with kindness and with understanding, especially when dealing with the difficult people. The third and the last additional tip is that seek positive influences. Surround yourself with the supportive people, with the positive people who encourage you, who uplift you. So these are the three additional tips. Let me revise very quickly in few seconds only. The number one thing is do not internalize the negativity by remembering that their behavior is not a reflection of your worth. The second is practice self compassion. Treat yourself with the kindness and with the understanding, especially when dealing with the difficult people. The third is that seek positive influences. Surround yourself with the supportive people who encourage you, who uplift you. By following these simple and concise guidelines, you can better manage the people, even if at all they are close to you. By managing, if we can manage the mean people, in this way we can manage the mean people, the bad people, the people of the bad nature, the people who have gone astray, the people who are pervert. We can somehow deal these people in a right manner, in the right manner, which will ensure our own mental, physical, and emotional well-being. So that is all from me today. Thank you very much.